Hello! This is my very first video of my new reviewing channel. I will be reviewing different console hardwares and software, otherwise known as video game consoles and their games. And this first video is going to be of the Nintendo 64. The console released by Nintendo in 1996, meant to be the competitor to the PlayStation and Sega Saturn. It's a really nice console in general. You can see the front here. Yes, the console is cartridge based, so there is no optical disc drive. The cartridge part of it was something that Nintendo almost paid dearly for because they wanted to avoid pirating of their games, which is something they were worried about at the CD format, though it really kind of hurt their console in the long run because CDs could hold a lot more than cartridges, and it just made it to where PlayStation was the winner of this generation. But as we can see the console, see the front here, 4 controller ports, which was actually a really new thing. Notice the Sega Saturn and PlayStation 1 only had 2. And you needed multi-taps to get that to work. Have a nice logo here, Nintendo 64, the N64 logo. And one part I like about the console is these little pillars up front, which give it some stability when it's moving, which is really nice and all. That's the front. On the top here, we got a basic power switch here, as you can see. And then we have here, this is where your memory expansions would go, which would allow certain games to work better, like Perfect Dark, for example. We have a reset button. And then over here, we got some venting, cartridge slot for the cartridge door, which they fit really nice into there. We have Nintendo label here. That's the top of the console in general. On the sides, we just have some venting, some more venting. On the back here, you're gonna notice this huge gaping hole, which is actually where the power goes, because the transformer for it, instead of being at the end of the plug, like a lot of consoles and having a giant plug, it's actually just plugged into the back of the console, which is kind of cool for the time. Right here, we have the AV out cable, which I'll show you in a little bit. We have a Nintendo help number here. Not too sure if they'd still help you if you're N64 and all. On the bottom, we have this right here, the bottom of the pillars. You notice they have these little indents here. It's actually, the bottom here has some venting, you know, serial number, your normal warning info, these different rubber pads here, some screws. What you may notice as you look on the console is that there's this little door here, and that's actually an expansion port that's put into all your N64 consoles. That was actually used for an N64 DD, or disc drive, which only had about 10 games out for it. Nintendo was developing it, but it was kind of a huge failure. It was only released in Japan. If you do get one, they do work with the American consoles, but they're kind of rare. It would plug into the bottom here, and these little holes in the feet would go on the top of it, to where it would be on top of it like that. But in the back here, I'll show you. This right here is the power box. As you can see, the hole for it here, you know, the wire comes in. It ends in a plug like this, which is nice compared to a lot of consoles for the time. As you can see, really just, it's this giant box, and just kind of snaps in the back of the console here. Doesn't look too pretty from behind, but when you look like this, it looks really cool. And then we have our AV out cable here, which of course ends in your standard composite cables, you know, AV cables. And that fit in the console just like this, which is really nice because this is actually the same exact wire that was used for the Super Nintendo and the GameCube. This wire is actually from my GameCube because when I bought this console, it did not come with the wire. So, that's your general overlook of the console. Sometime soon, I'll be reviewing some games for it. And that's about it. This is my review of the N64, just kind of a look at it. It's a great console. It has its own kind of art style to it that's very personalistic. You know, kind of polygonal look. Has some great games like Mario 64 and Zelda. And we'll see you next time. I think I'm going to be reviewing the controller for the N64 next. And I'll also show you how the cartridges go in there. Alright, so I'll see you later. I do not have a name for my channel yet because it has not been created. Later on in my later videos I will introduce with that name. Anyway, I'll see you later. Bye.